Hey guys, it's TTL back with another preview for you. And that is because just before the launch of 11th Gen, the ROG Maximus Extreme Glacial arrived. Now, the Glacial's actually, it comes with a full cover water block and a full cover water block only. So didn't have enough time to do a build to have been able to have tested it for all the launch stuff. So I'm here today to give you a preview, and then we can discuss some options on what we could do going forward with a review and a possible build and that sort of thing. Now, this board does come with an awful lot of stuff, and it does come with a rather crazy full cover motherboard water block as well, but they do want you to pay £1,400 for it. So let's have a look inside the box and see if it could possibly be worth it. Okie dokie. So it does come in a rather large box, especially for a motherboard, but you can see there are a couple of very clear halves to it. And it does come with these briefcase sort of style clips on it. Now, it's all magnetic. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be saying, we don't want to look at the box. But if you bought something like this, then kind of the drama and the like in the opening and all of this is all part and parcel of what you pay for. Now, it does all open up. Now, on this side you have the water block, and then on this side is where the motherboard would have been, but it was just too heavy for me to have been able to throw it around, so I've already taken the motherboard off. Now, the water block is in here separately, and we will get to this in a minute. Now, I did want to show you some of the accessories and stuff that go on inside, because this, straight away, I don't want to do this because this is one of the things I didn't want to forget about. Now, this is the ROG Clavis. Now, if you have a look, it's USB Type-C on one side, and then there is a 3.5mm on the other side. Now this, and I have to get my notes because I will forget, but it's got an ESS 9281 Pro quad DAC and amp built into that. So that's one that you can just pop on the front panel if you want. Now, the audio on the board as well, while we're talking about audio, the back panel is a ROG Supreme FX, and that's got the ALC 484082. And then on the front panel, because it's separate, that's an ESS ES9018Q2C DAC. So effectively, in case you didn't know, because they are separate, the rear panel and the front panel aren't done from the same DACs, and some people do forget that. But you do have this little baby DAC, and this can do noise cancellation and all kinds of other stuff as well. And it's got, oh, it's even got it's got a switch on it for PC stroke notebook, and then for mobile phones as well. That's kind of cool. So you can use it on your mobile as well if you wanted. Now, I am going to bust through. This has just got your manuals and stuff in it. This is for extra M.2s that goes down the side. I'm sure you've all seen these. This one, the fact that it's silver. Oh, even says about it being extreme glacial. So this is almost like an external holder for another couple of M.2 drives, because one of them actually gets cooled by the water block, which I'll show you in a bit. And then this is quite a handy little hub, actually. You can see this is all brand new, and this is the reason why I wanted to film this before I took photos of everything, because then you can see it all coming out all Gucci. Anyway, you have your ARGBs and fans down here. You can see the black and the white. And essentially it all connects up to the motherboard and makes your life a lot easier if you're running multiple RGB fans, because if you have an ARGB fan, then you're going to need all the extra connectors unless you're going to end up with loads of daisy chains. So this can be incredibly helpful, and a lot of the cooling manufacturers are selling these separately, although I do think Asus are selling these separately now as well. Then you also do get an Asus screwdriver, which will come in handy when you're trying to fit the water block itself. Now, In the other parts of the box, there's an awful lot of accessories, and I was hoping this was all going to come out as one, but it's not. It's all going to fall out. Yeah, it's all going to fall out. So the SATA cables, if you do end up using them, are nice cloth braided cables, so that's all good. Although there's 6 there in total so far. You get a swathe of extension cables as well. Now you get extension cables for addressable RGB, you get extension cables for 4-pin RGB. They also give you this fan out cable, which is well handy. So that is from 1 to 3 addressable RGB, so that would be really handy for fans if you didn't end up using this, or maybe you need loads of extra addressable strips or stuff like that. So there's loads of that for you to go on with. And I have no clue. This is their magnetic graphics card support. It's only really any good if you have a power supply cover on your case, but it's magnetic on the bottom so it sticks, and then you've got you can move that up and down, and you can turn it around as well. So there's lots of options for you to messing around with that. And that's a 4-pin a 4-pin RGB cable. Can you see all this stuff all falling out? Look, it's literally everywhere. There is loads going on with this. That is your Wi-Fi antenna. They give you a key ring on that one. This is something which it still excites me because we don't get it enough, but it's the USB drive where your drivers are. Do remember though that these drivers are the very early ones because obviously they don't update them with time. So it's a good idea to keep these updated if you're going to be doing it at home yourself. And then you do also get the pack where, if you have a look, you can see all the thermal pads are for, and this is for the water block, which I will show you now. Okay, so I have to do this by hand because it weighs a ton. Not literally, before people start telling me, no, it doesn't weigh that much. But we flip it round the back. It's all machined from a single billet of copper and then nickel plated, so it stops it from oxidizing. You can also see here there is a connector here for an addressable RGB, and then there's also a little cable here, which I'll show you where it goes on the motherboard in a minute. You can also see that it calls the VRMs all the way around here. There's an extra little connector or pad up here, and that's where the 10GBE chip actually sits, so it helps to cool that. Does help to cool one of and it's the first NVMEs as well. This would also be the only place on the board that PCI Express 4 would work, so that's going to help for any of you guys out there that have got I don't know, some of these 6 gigabit a second ones are not that quite hot, but the 7.4 gigabits a second ones can get really hot. But there's a lot of acrylic going on, as you can see, because it does all light up. But this front section is all aluminium, and it's already making me want to take it off and paint it. Now, this section is quite thick. It's like 2 or 3 mil aluminium. I'm trying to work out if this bit down the side is just a cover. It's still aluminium, but it's much, much thinner. But I think that's because of the window that we've got, and then the ROG eye. Now, this is a little panel here that you can show you temps and stuff as well. You get lights that you can light up through both of the water cooling windows. The in and the out ports here both have flow meters and temperature meters as well, which you can hook up and control and monitor through all the software, because I showed you that little clip that was on the board. You can see up here, that is where it goes. Now, the power around the outside of the board is actually, it's 19 phases altogether, but 18 of them are for the CPU. Now, they're teamed up, so it's 9 teamed up to 18, but they're 100 amps each. So there's an awful lot going around there. Now, I've not seen any official stuff from Asus about the breakdown for the VRMs or anything yet. I need to get some more information on that. The reviewer's guide that I did get was still watermarked in a very early one for the local Asus PR manager. So it's not something I can share with you yet, although I normally would have done. Can see the chipset over here, but one of the things I will say with this board is it's all incredibly packed with connections, and it's just got chips and stuff everywhere. Now you can see you've got a couple of 8 pins at the top, and then you've got one of the chassis fans. Although there are some down the side. You've got switches here as well, PCI poster readouts. These little solder points up here are for testing with a multimeter. You can see that you've got one addressable connector up at the top. I was ashamed that there wasn't a 4-pin directly anywhere, but you can see there's another couple of addressables down the side, and then you do get an addressable and a 4-pin at the bottom. So there's only one 4-pin, but you have 4 in total addressables. Now you obviously need an addressable for the water block, so then you've got 3 other ones for if you want to use it. Now you do also get, you've got your 24-pin connector there, but there is a 6-pin connector for if you should need any extra power for your graphics. That's only going to be really if you're going absolutely crazy with your overclocking. An end user does not, a normal end user at home does not need to worry about that. There is another fan header here, so we've got 1, 2, 3 down the side. There's 4 and 5 there. And then actually it's kind of strange that there was no more hidden along the bottom, and there's a swathe of switches and stuff going on down at the bottom to do with overclocking, but really these ones most people aren't going to use. The safe boot's a good one. You can, that's a switch, as in a press switch. That will boot up your, you have to save it though. Say for argument's sake you wanted to have a safe one, which is 4.8 gigahertz at really like low volts, then you can have that saved, and that's like a power switch to turn that one on. You've got a retry button, which is if you've had a failed start and you don't want to have the problems with Windows telling you, oh, there's something wrong with your system, blah, 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 blah. So you can flick that and it will do that. And then you've got the, I believe it is the BIOS switch. Yeah, BIOS switch. Water cooling cooler though, corner, I do apologise, so that you have flow meters, top and bottom, and then this one is also an RPM for your, actually no, these are thermal probes. That is your flow meter. You can see the M.2 on the board there. I don't think there are any more underneath, but now I've said that there's another 2 more underneath. So you've got one there, that's PCI Express 4. There's 2 more underneath that sit here, and you can have a further 2 up here if you want. So loads of NVMe options on this board. All the ALC codecs and stuff are all hidden around here, but I do believe that is the one for the 10 GBE, because round the back, if you have a look, 10 GBE, 2.5 GBE, 2.5 is the normal Intel one, this is like the added one that they've put on there for you. There is, quite strangely, a HDMI out, because obviously the Intel processors do have onboard video, or most of them do, unless you've got a KF. But we do have Thunderbolt, which is kind of nice. A lot of people will be excited about that. Rear panel out, Wi-Fi 6E. You can obviously do your BIOS flashback as well as clearing the CMOS around the back. Don't forget with the BIOS flashback, you do have to change the name, but thankfully Asus do now have a renamer that comes with the BIOSes, which makes life really easy. And then loads of USB 3.2 Gen 2 round the back, because they're all red, so they've thrown lots at the USB side of things, because you can see them all down the side as well. So there's 1,000,001 switches built into the board. Now, at this point, I need to actually build the board. But as this is a preview, what I then need to do is obviously have a CPU in it, and it's going to end up getting built. So I'm going to save that for the main review. Deep breaths, Tom. But for now, that's 1,400 quid's worth of kit. Could you see it being in your rig? Because it is an obscene amount of money. And I think this is really going to end up with an i9 in it and a 3090 or something in it, isn't it? Could build something very, very pretty, but do you think the investment into something like this is worthy, considering the performance that we did get from the i9 processors? Only time's going to tell, but you can tell me underneath your thoughts. But for now, at least, this is the tiniest one with another video for you. Out.